Hey YouTube. Alright, so today I want to talk about the money pipeline that exists that's siphoning money from the poor and sending it upwards to the super wealthy. Before I get into that, let me ask you this question. How many of you work for a living? How many of you, work for a large company, small company? Doesn't matter. Now, how would you feel if one day your boss walked into your office and said, hey, all right, so starting this week, I'm going to need to collect 15% of your salary. You're going to have to pay that directly to me in order to keep working here. Or what if your boss said, starting effective immediately, I'm going to cut your hours, I'm going to cut your salary, and you need to get on welfare programs in order to supplement your income. What would your response to your boss be? More than likely, you'd be very aggressive. What if I told you that this has been the situation and this has been happening for decades? What I'm talking about is the money pipeline that exists that's siphoning money from the super poor and the middle class and paying it to the rich. Now, this is not just a US problem. This is a global problem. If you watch documentaries like An End to Poverty, it explains the problem on a global scale. And it goes into more detail on what specific institutions have been created to facilitate this pipeline. On a domestic scale, we have politicians, Republicans and Democrats, that are arguing for tax cuts for the super wealthy. Now, what you need to understand is that the government only has one way to collect revenue, and that's through taxes. If you cut the taxes of the super wealthy, you're asking the lower half of the country to pick up responsibility and pay for the taxes that you just paid to the rich. The other way how they've been siphoning money from the poor to the super wealthy is through subsidies. Now, what a subsidy is, don't let anybody fool you. It's literally taking tax dollars out of your pocket and giving to a corporation to encourage them to do business. Now, there are some corporations that don't need to be subsidized. Take the oil companies, for instance. Oil is only found in certain parts of the world. They're going to go there regardless. You don't need to pay them, you don't need to subsidize them to get them to go there. This is a scam. Okay? Now, the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want you to start looking at what politicians are saying and understanding what they mean in simple common sense terms. This isn't about ideology. This isn't about Keynesianism versus Friedmanism. This is just about common sense, the basics. If you cut taxes for the super wealthy, you're shifting the burden onto the lower class. If you subsidize the super wealthy, you're in effect taking money from the poor and giving it directly to the rich. Now, there are other ways how they've been facilitating this pipeline. Walmart is probably one of the biggest examples, but it's not just them. It's several other big chains, Home Depot, Lowe's, all of these big companies. Basically, what they're doing is that they're purposely underpaying their staff or not giving them enough hours so that way they'll have to rely on welfare programs that we pay for. The other side, it's not supposed to be this way. If you are employed, you're supposed to be earning enough money that you can pay your bills, you can take care of yourself, you can go to school, and you can also purchase things. There's nothing wrong with that. That is how the economy is fundamentally supposed to work. Now, I will post a video in this description of FDR speaking in 1944 about the Second Bill of Rights. And he's 100% right. It's not supposed to be like this. Necessitous men are not free men. You know, so we have to break this pipeline. And yes, it's a global issue, but we have the ability here to make a difference. The first step is to get Bernie Sanders elected, because he's the only politician who understands that this pipeline exists and is actually making an effort to break it. But electing Bernie Sanders is not the final step. It's the first step. The second step is going to be to vote out every single one of these corrupt Republican politicians and every single one of these corporatist Democrats. We need to get them out of office, and we need to replace them with people who care. People who are big picture people. People who don't want to give tax cuts to the super rich. If we can do this, if we can succeed in getting Bernie Sanders elected, it will be a positive step towards changing society for the better. And it's going to have global impact. Do your part. Like, share, create videos like this of your own. I've seen people doing it. Get on Twitter, get on Facebook, get on Reddit. Just share the hell out of videos. Like videos, create videos of your own, share articles, anything. Just do your part. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to people around you. We need to get Bernie to win. Hillary doesn't have a plan to break the pipeline. She wants to continue it. That's why she hasn't taken a stance on the TPP. Now, a lot of them will talk about income inequality, or they might talk about lobbyists, but they don't mean it. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.